Hello, everyone. I am Matt Coast, and I'm here with the beautiful and amazing Helena Hart. Say hi, Helena.
Hey, everybody.
And today we're going to be talking about 10 attitudes. 10 attitudes. I know everybody loves when I do that. 10 attitudes men love in women. And so the first thing that I want to do is just tell a little story that I heard a long time ago. It actually comes from a whole bunch of different cultures and a whole bunch of different kind of myths or kind of places in the world. And it goes something like this. One day, the creator of all the universe decided that he wanted to create humans, and he brought together all the creatures of of the world, and said that he wanted to have a discussion with them. And so he asked these creatures. He said, "I have a gift that I want to give to humans, but only when they're ready for it. It's the realization that they are the source of great power and can create their own reality. Where should I hide it?" And so an eagle came up and said, "Give it to me and I'll take it to the moon." And the creator replied, "No, it won't take them long to figure out a way to get there and find it." And so then a fish said, "I'll bury it at the bottom of the ocean." And the creator replied, "No, it won't take him very long to go down there and find it as well." And so a buffalo came up and said, "Give it to me, and I'll bury it in the Great Plains." And the creator said, "No, they'll just cut into the earth, the skin of the earth, and quickly find it there." And then an old, wise grandmother mole came up and said, "I know, put it inside of them. They'll never think to look inside of themselves." And the creator said, "Then it shall be done." And so a lot of women come to us and they want to find the answers to having the relationship that they want, and in changing men or getting men to do something different or attempting to fix them. And I want to suggest that everything really starts in shifting the focus from it being about men to inside of yourself, and looking inside of yourself for the answers, and maybe making some shifts within yourself before you start shifting your focus, and that it will become a lot more effective in not only enjoying your own life, but in creating the world that you want to live in, creating the relationship that you want to live in. You'll notice that when you make some of these shifts, the men that are around you will actually change as well. And so, here we kind of believe in this idea of it kind of going inside first. There's a lot of stuff, and we sell programs and that focus a lot on what to say to men, or how to change behaviors or do things to get guys to do things. But I really believe that if you want to attract and keep a guy long term, and you want this to last, that you really need to shift the focus in on yourself. And so today we're going to be talking about these different attitudes that you can have, which is one of the ways to kind of shift things back into yourself, is with these attitudes that men really love in women, and that can completely change and reshape the way that you connect with men in your life, not only in romantic relationships, but in business relationships and all kinds of different ways. If this is your first time to Helena's channel, make sure that you hit the subscribe button, because she's got some great videos on here, and she'd love your support. So hey, Helena, you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, absolutely. So let's get started with these. Helena's going to start out with the first attitude, and it is holding the key to your own happiness. You want to go ahead and talk about that? Elena?
Sure. I'll start out with that one. Thanks for kicking this off. I'm a little bit nervous. I just have to say this is like the first live stream on my channel. And I was telling Matt's mom a few minutes ago how nervous I was. Matt's at his mom's house right now. So thanks for Matt's here for moral support. And that was such a great intro. And it goes right into this first attitude. And that is the attitude that you hold the key to your happiness. And I talk a lot about this. If you've seen some of my other videos, if you've ever caught yourself sort of looking to a man as like holding something that you want, like he's holding the key to your happiness or your sense of lovableness or worthiness, it's like he has something that you want and he's not giving it to you, for example. It's just like the worst feeling ever, right? And most women watching can probably relate to that. So what you want to do is just imagine taking that key that you believe a man holds to your happiness, your sense of being lovable or valuable, and put that key in your own hands where it belongs. And this is sort of like taking your focus off of what a man is doing or not doing and putting it on yourself and your own life. And this totally shifts your vibe and makes you super attractive to all men, really, especially if he's a masculine energy man. You know, we can just look to others often to fulfill some of these deep unmet needs that we have within ourselves so much of the time. And a lot of times it's subconscious. We don't even realize that we're doing this. So having some awareness around this can really start to turn things around. Like what Matt was saying, you know, we could give you the perfect thing to say to a man, but if you don't have these attitudes down first, it's not going to last. It won't get you those permanent results. And this one is huge for that. So you want to make sure that you're the source of your own happiness. And of course, a man wants to make you happy and meet your needs. He wants to add to your happiness. Absolutely. He just doesn't want to be the only source of it, where you're constantly looking to him to like fill you up, when really, you know, what your soul is seeking, or however you want to put that, is that love from yourself first. No person's going to be able to give you the love and validation that you're seeking from yourself. So it all starts with you. Like so much of the tools and concepts that I teach, everything starts with meeting your own needs, making yourself happy first. Matt, do you have anything you want to add to that one?
Yeah, I do actually. And what it is so think about this, right? So if you give him the key to your happiness and he is totally responsible and in control of it, what ends up happening is your happiness fluctuates based on how he responds and reacts and how he is around you, right? And so your happiness is going to go like this, right? And it's absolutely exhausting. It's frustrating. It's crazy. And instead, what you want to do is, if you're in control of your happiness, then you'll be able to control the ups and downs of it. And when he comes to you, if you're making it about him, it's exhausting to him because he constantly has to try to do things to make you happy all the time. And it's totally exhausting for a man to be given that responsibility of another, not only to like control his own emotions and happiness, but all of a sudden, you know, this woman who's this, you know, massively emotional creature, he's trying to like navigate and like, you know, make her happy all the time. And it's like, you know, when's enough, you know, you know what, if you take ownership of your happiness, it makes it easy for him. It's easy for him to win. And if you know anything about men, you know that men like to win. And so if you make it easier for him to win with you, then he'll want to continue to be around you because he'll feel like he's winning. He'll feel like he's getting somewhere. He'll feel like he's in control. And that can be a very important and powerful thing for a man to want to stay with somebody, is feeling like they're in control. So did you want to add anything else, Elena?
Absolutely. No, I think you said it all. You want to move on to the second one?
Yeah, I just wanted to see if you had anything else you wanted to say.
There was something, but I lost it. Maybe it'll come to me.
Okay. So hey, everybody that's here, hi. We love it when you say hi. So say hi if you're here with us. Hi from Houston, Texas. You're doing awesome work, Helena. I appreciate
Oh,
your work so much. Thank you. So
I'm reading the comments
Taryn
now.
says
Thank you
that.
so much. Oh, I remember what I was gonna say. Yeah, if you if a man's holding the key to your happiness and he doesn't do what you want, you can like take that to mean that you're not worthwhile or lovable, right? So you don't want your self-esteem or your mood or your emotional state to be dependent on what a man's doing or not doing, or your self-esteem. I see that in so many women. I mean, we can all kind of get into that sometimes. So you don't, if a man's holding something that you want, like that key to your happiness, and he doesn't behave the way you hoped he would, it can mess with your whole mood. It can ruin your day. It can erode your self-esteem. So you want to make sure that all of that is coming from the inside first.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Also, one other thing, again, I'm just going to promote Feminine Enchantment. If you haven't seen our Helena's full system on attracting and keeping a man, go to feminineenchantment.com. It's a really great program. So if you're just showing up to this, we have 10 attitudes men love in women. And I think number 10 is by far the most important one. And I think Helena agrees with me. And so make sure you hang out and watch it until the end, because it's a really great one. So the second one, the number 2 that we're going to be talking about here, number 1 was holding the key to your own happiness. Number 2 is this attitude of we're in this together, right? There's this thing that happens with a lot of couples, and I've seen it in my own family. I've seen it actually in most of the relationships that people have in my family, of just attacking each other. You know, it's just this constant battle between each other. You know, people are like going to other people in the family and, you know, talking crap about that other person. And it's really painful, you know, and for a guy, it's just miserable. And it's, you know, if a guy does it to you, it's miserable too. And so what you want to do is you want to be on his side. You know, you want to have this attitude that you're in this together. Allison Armstrong calls this in partnership, right? You're there with him. You're loyal to him when he's around and when he's not. There's this, I did this video on my channel about different ways that men test women before marriage. And one of the things was this loyalty test where guys go out with a woman and he just watches. It's not even really a test. It's more of an observation where he just watches the woman and sees what she does. And when there's a lot of women who will go out and start flirting with other guys when they're out on a date with their guy, you know, and that's like a immediate red flag to the guy that she's not going to be loyal. She's going to cheat on him. She's going to do all these things. And if you show him that you're with him when you're there, right, that makes him feel great. It makes him feel strong. It makes him feel like a man, especially if he's around his friends and you're with him. You know, it's not about his friends. It's about him. You stand up for him. You stick with him. If you know, you're talking to his friends or you're talking to his family and he's not there, saying good things about him, because those things get back to him. And if you're talking crap behind his back, it's going to get back to him, and it's going to be another red flag that goes up. And so, you know, one way to do this, and I like to give, you know, I know we talked about it coming from inside and kind of shifting your mindset here, but there are ways to do this externally as well, which is, you know, telling him things that you're grateful for in him. I actually have this game that I learned I created when I was in the men's dating space. And it's not like a game like you're playing games with him, but it's a game like, you know, playing checkers or Yahtzee or Scrabble or something, but it's a lot more fun than that. And it's this game, I call it the Do You Know What I Like About You game. And it's a game that you can play anytime, anywhere, which is one of the things that makes it so much fun. And what you do is you say, you know what I like about you? And then you say what you like about him. And then you go, your turn, right? And it puts it on him to say something that he likes about you. And it's a really cool game to kind of bond with somebody. And I've seen people use it for months or even years in a relationship, where it's kind of almost a reminder, and it shifts your focus to all the positive and the good things. And we'll talk more about this game and some of these other attitudes, because it's a really, really powerful game that you can play just to light up your relationship and make you feel better about each other and focus on the positive and just feel good. And it shows that you're in this together with him by, talking about the things that you like about him. So did you have anything you wanted to say about that?
You just see me smiling over here. I feel like we should play that game as soon as we're done. It's the first time I've ever heard you say that. I've never heard you say that before, but I love it. I love it. No, I think you said it all. That was fantastic. Should we move on to number 3?
Yes, number 3.
Okay, number 3 is encouraging his passions and interests. And this will go a long way, especially if he's a masculine energy man. If you can encourage his independence and encourage him to, do the things he loves outside of the relationship that don't necessarily have to be the two of you hanging out together, or where you don't necessarily have to be there all the time. That's going to make him a better relationship partner to you when he comes back to you. A lot of women miss this. They start dating a guy and they want to spend all their time with him. And if a man can start to see you not as a distraction, something that's going to pull him away from his purpose or what he likes to do, but as someone who's going to become more and get to do more of what he loves and become the person that he really wants to be, because he has you in his life, you're going to become just irreplaceable. You're going to be the most valuable person in his life. Kind of goes along a little bit with the last attitude. Matt, do you have anything you want to say about this one?
Well, I actually have a really cool tip that supports this, but it goes along with one of my attitude things that I'm going to be talking about here in a little bit. It's a little bit different, but it's really, really powerful. But like what you said, this is incredibly powerful. If you're constant, what happens with a lot of times in relationships, especially with women, is that they look at a guy's passions or his the things that he's into. Sometimes it's his job, sometimes it's his computer, and they look at his passions and they see that it pulls him away from her, right? It pulls him away from the woman. And a lot of times women will start to hate his passions. They'll start to hate his computer. They'll start to hate anything that pulls him away from her, right? And it becomes this thing where it's like, does he care about his passion more in the future? Or, does he care about being with her? And it almost becomes this ultimatum, like, which one do I choose? Do I choose her, or do I choose what I really care about so much in my life doing? And it's like, I'm going to lose one or the other. Which one's more important to me? And if you really want him to love you, allow him to have both, right? I don't want to sound like I'm kind of like excusing bad behavior, excusing a guy that's, neglecting you or something like that. That's not what I'm talking about here. What I am talking about is allowing a man or encouraging a man to follow his passions, follow interests, follow things that he loves to do, and find a way actually to be a part of it. If you can find a way to be a part of those things, he'll associate you with the passion, and he'll love you even more for it. So, that's that. Did you come up with anything else that you wanted to say?
No, I think you said it all. That was amazing. Yeah, that was amazing. You want to move on to number 4?
Yeah, I'll move on to number 4. I just want to say hi to all these people. Hi from Arizona. Love all your advice. We love our advice too. Just kidding. But we do. We really love our advice. Hi from Australia. That was a joke. For some reason, Helena's not laughing at my jokes today.
Oh, I'm reading the comments too.
Hi from Tallahassee, Florida. Hi from Eugene, Oregon. I watch all your videos and preparing myself for a healthy relationship. Yeah, and if you guys want more advice, you want more techniques and tips and stuff on how to attract and keep a man, make sure that you go to feminineenchantment.com, and you can go and sign up for the program over there, and you can actually get question and answer advice about your situation from Helena, which is really, really powerful for a lot of people who have, and it's anonymous. Like if you have a tough situation and you don't want to talk about it on a public forum or something, you can go to feminineenchantment.com and you can sign up for the program, and you can ask your question anonymously, and Helena will answer your question about your situation. So that's that. So number 4, moving on to number 4. Number 4, people love my big hand movement. Some people hate it, but I don't care. I think they're great. And Helena likes them too, and that's all that matters. So number 4 is accepting him for who he is, right? And so this is one of those things, I think everybody knows about it. I mean, if you don't know about this one, it's kind of like, where have you been, this whole time? Love is accepting somebody for who they are. It's accepting them, who they are, where they're at right now in their lives, and just loving them for that. And what happens a lot of times that we see it all over the place. We saw it in our community all the time. Women talk about this, like, how do I make this guy like start, figuring out his life and becoming a better person and all this stuff. Men aren't fixer-uppers, right? Stop trying to fix him. Allow him to be him. And if you can't accept him for who he is, you need to get out of the relationship and find somebody that you can accept for who he is. Stop trying to make him better. Love him for who he is. And from moving back to the tactical thing, because I know that's what a lot of people want, even if we're talking about attitudes here. And let's talk about the attitude for a second, and I think Helena will probably agree with me on this. But if you really want to accept a man for who he is, a lot of times that stems from not accepting ourselves for who we are. And so, one of the things that you need to work on, my suggestion that you work on, is accepting yourself, accepting your flaws, accepting the things that you think need to be different in yourself. There's a thing called shadow work that I used to do a lot of. I used to coach people through shadow work, which kind of looks at these aspects of yourself that you feel are shameful or negative, and then just loving and accepting those parts of yourself. And it's amazing how when you stop judging yourself and shaming yourself, you stop judging and shaming people around you. It's really, really powerful. If you wanted so let's get back to the tactical stuff, because I know people love that. People love the tactics. If you want to do this from a tactical standpoint, find his vulnerabilities and praise those things in him. So things that he might see as flaws, things where he's scared to kind of open those things up and talk about those things, kind of finding that stuff and just being like, wow, that's amazing. Or finding his scars, right? Finding places where he's been hurt or he's gone through a tough time, and just, telling him how amazing it is that he's gone through that and he's made it through that. And it's, made him into a better, stronger human being. Or finding where he's working on himself and praising him for that. And you can do that. A really powerful way to do that is in that game that I told you about, the Do You Know What I Like About You game. And instead of focusing on like physical attributes, finding things where you're like, yeah, you made it through this. And I think that's really powerful. You're a really strong, powerful guy. Whether you recognize and see that strength in yourself or not, right? It's just, it's beautiful. It's beautiful stuff. Men love to feel like they're strong, right? They want to feel like they're manly. They want to feel like they're strong. They want to feel like they're capable. And when you talk to him about things and show him that because of this, that makes him strong, that can be a really powerful way to connect with his heart and make him feel like you really get him and that you really love him and that you're somebody that he wants to keep around in his life. Do you have anything you wanted to say about that?
Oh yeah, that is great. Thank you for mentioning that. Yeah, I always say that a man won't believe that you're going to accept him until he sees that you accept you, that you love and accept all the parts of yourself. It's another one of those things that all starts with you. A lot of men don't have really good self-esteem. They feel inadequate or guilty about some of their feelings, or like sexual desires or drives. And if you can show a man that you love and accept all the parts of yourself deep down, and this is often subconscious, that's how he knows that you're going to accept him and all the parts of him, that you're not going to judge him. So that's another one that all starts with yourself. Yeah, Matt mentioned that, but I just wanted to reiterate that because it's really, really important. Should we move on to number 5, or did you have anything?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we got like 110 people watching this video right now. So if you're on here, say hello. So we got somebody from Jackson, Florida saying hello. Someone says, I think you're both great. As a 50-year-old, I find the advice you guys offer is very helpful in my dating advice. I don't always agree, but I'm adapting to be more open-minded. You should be more open-minded about our advice. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Sometimes I make jokes and stuff in case people don't get my humor. I know some people don't get my humor. I have kind of a interesting way of being humorous. Beth says, love you too. I watch both your videos often. Always great advice. Thank you, Beth. Anne says, how can you make him feel good when he's depressed from a broken marriage, when he feels anger still because his ex was unfaithful? I mean, there's only so much you can do sometimes about certain situations. But we'll talk more about that in a little bit. If you're just showing up here, we're talking about the 10 attitudes men love in women. And number 10 is by far the most important one. And it's going to do the most to attract a guy, make him fall in love with you, make him think that you're the one that he wants in his life forever. So pay attention, stay with us until number 10, and we're moving forward. Go ahead, Elena, say the next one.
Okay, number 5. Sorry, it's very distracting to see myself when I talk. You sure there's no way to like turn that off?
Yes,
okay.
I am 100% certain about that.
I'm just kind of feeling my way through this first live stream. It's different because we've always done it on
now you know how I feel during the live streams, and I'm always looking at myself and I'm like clicking on different things. Like, I don't want to look at myself all the time.
It's very unnerving. But I'll get used to it. So number 5 is living in the moment, enjoying the moment, enjoying the unfolding along the way rather than rushing to get to the finish line. And this shouldn't come as a surprise if you've seen some of my other videos. I'm all about feminine energy, getting out of your head and into the body, into the present moment. Very, very important. I know we women can tend to get very worked up about like looking in the distance, for example, in the relationship. Like, well, what is this going to look like 6 months down the line or a year down the line? And we don't want to fully be in the moment because we're afraid of getting hurt. And I certainly understand that, right? But you don't want to be fast forwarding so much to the future or being up in your head worried about what a man's thinking or if he likes you or what to say next. You want to just drill down into the present moment. And when you do that, it can just make you super irresistible and intriguing and attractive to a man. Right, Matt?
Yeah, there's the idea of like looking ahead and planning ahead and strategizing and all that kind of stuff. That's all masculine energy stuff, right? Feminine energy stuff is, experiencing the moment, getting caught up in emotion, like just experience, right? Feeling what's going on. That's all feminine energy stuff. The guy, if he's in his masculine energy, what he's doing is he's thinking, okay, what kind of an experience do I want to take her through next, right? Where are we going to go? Where is this conversation going to go? What are we going to do? What trip am I going to take her on? Where should I recommend that we do? All that kind of stuff, right? That's logical, masculine energy thinking stuff. And, not saying that women can't think that way, right? I think there's good times to be in your masculine energy, especially if you are, in the workforce and doing all that kind of stuff. And at the same time, if you're in relation to a man, if you want him to feel a powerful, magnetic attraction that just pulls him in, you want to be in the moment. You want to be in your body. You want to feel things. You want to experience what's going on right now. And it can be attractive sometimes for a woman to show a little bit of masculinity, if she's in her femininity all the time. Just like for a man who's in his masculine all the time, it can be cute for him to show a vulnerability, or for him to, get into his emotions or something. You see a big, strong guy and he's always big and strong, and all of a sudden you see him crying, while watching a movie. You're like, oh, but if he's like a wimpy, effeminate dude and he's crying all the time, you're like, come on, dude, like, get it together. Right. Or whatever. Yes. Am I perpetuating gender stereotypes here, Helena?
No, I love what you said.
Cool. So,
can I add something to that?
Yes.
To that last one? Yeah. When you can get this down, you're there when it's like these moments you have with a man, or just in life, kind of become so rich and so full of everything you want, all of these really good feelings that you want to experience in your love life, or just in your life in general, that you become not so sure that you want to get all the way to the finish line, because you're enjoying the unfolding. If you can get there, that's when you know that you've done it. Because I know a lot of times, like, well, am I doing this right? I hear that a lot, and I can feel that way all the time. Am I doing this? If you can get to the point where you're not so sure if you want the wait to be over, so to speak, or you want to get all the way to where you think you want to go, your destination, because you're enjoying this unfolding so much, everything is can just feel so good. Like Matt has made fun of me before, but I'm just like, oh my God, like, this is the best moment ever. Like, this is my favorite day. Do you remember that? There was this one day where I was like, this is the best cup of coffee I've ever had. Oh my gosh, this is like the best night ever. Like, it's like these moments become so fun, and they feel so good that you kind of forget about, like, oh yeah, like, where are we going to be a year from now? Or you just brings you out of your head and into your body. It shifts you into your feminine energy. So when you can get to that place, that you're doing this. Okay, are we ready for number 6?
We are ready for number 6, and I've got number 6 here. And number 6 is supporting his potential. And this kind of sounds like supporting his passions, but it's a little bit different. And what it is it's looking at who he's trying to become, and not so there's a warning that goes along with this, right? And the warning is, don't fall in love with his potential, or you'll end up hurting yourself. We get a lot of women that end up falling in love with a man's potential instead of falling in love with who he is. And if you fall in love with his potential, there's a good chance that he's not going to become his potential. I mean, it's very, very possible that he's not going to become his potential. And we see women that get so frustrated with this, because they're like, well, he said he was working on this thing and he was going to be a multimillionaire and, all these things, and none of those things ended up happening, but he said that he was going to do it. And it's like, yeah, well, you felt, like, he wasn't that, that's not who he is. He is this person right now. And if you can't fall in love with who he is right now, you shouldn't be with him. You should fall in love with somebody that you can fall in love with who they are right now. And at the same time, have the ability to see his potential, be able to see what he wants you to see of who he wants to become. And then basically, most men want to become great men. They want to leave a legacy. They want to, make an impact on the world, or they want to do something great in their community, or something, right? Whatever it is. Maybe they want to become a great writer, or a great, businessman, or a great salesperson, or whatever, maybe they are that. just seeing who he wants to become, and then supporting who it is that he wants to become. And the way that this kind of looks in reality is and this is a technique based thing, since I know you love techniques. Everybody out there loves techniques and stuff. Am I stereotyping everybody into liking techniques? You know what? Maybe you don't like techniques. Maybe you're just into the attitudes. But here's a technique for you anyway. And it's what you do is you ask him about like what he wants, right? You ask him, there's different kind of like specific words that you could say. Like you could say something like, what is it? It's, if money was no object, what would you do with your life? Or, if you could do anything, who would you be? What are you working on? It's anything like that. Whenever you're having conversations and you're asking him what he's working on, who does he want to become? If money was no object, what would he do with his life? And then seeing what he says, right? He might say that he loves to travel, and he might say that he wants to be a great businessman. He might say that he'd really like to do volunteer work in, Uganda or something. Who knows what he's going to say? He might say anything, right? And what you want to do is you want to look at what he said that he wants to become, and you want to look at kind of the characteristics that he has, and then you want to match the two together, right? If he's a really caring, kind person, you might want to say, and he wants to become a doctor, what you might want to say to him is, I could see you being a really great doctor because, just the way that you care about people, and that story that you told me about, how you, did this, or, the way that you treated the waitress, at the restaurant, and how nice and kind you were to her. I can just see from that, and, from the way that you talk to me and the way that you interact with people that you really care. It's something that really shines in you, is the way that you care about other people. And so I think that you could become a really great doctor because of that. Or maybe, let's say that he wants to travel around the world, and you can tell he's just really confident in himself. You can say, wow, I think that you'd be really great at, traveling and finding new places and learning languages and, doing all the things that are associated with traveling because of how confident you are, just the way that you sit there or the way that you stand or the way that you talk with confidence. I can tell that you're the type of person that really, goes after and gets what you want in life. And I could see you, being really great at going out and exploring and finding new places that you love. Right. And so what you want to do is connect the thing that he says that he's working on in his life, and connect who he is as a person and reflect that back to him. And it's a really powerful way of supporting a person. And especially in our day and age, where a lot of men grow up in single family homes, a lot of men grow up in families where they aren't supported, where, their families don't encourage them. Being that source of encouragement for a man can be one of the most powerful things that you can do as a woman for him. And he can feel like you're more supportive of him than anyone else that's in his life. And so, did you want to say anything about that, Helena?
No, I think that was amazing, and I love that. I've never really heard you say anything like that before on a video either. So that was so valuable. Yeah, thank you. Do you have anything else, or should we move on to number 7?
We can move on to number 7, but let's just say hi to everybody real quick. Okay. We got hi from Amsterdam. Great videos. Do these tips also help when you're in a FWB situation and want to transform it to a committed relationship? Yes, they can. One thing that you need to be aware of with FWB or friend with benefits type relationship, casual relationships, is that they rarely go to real relationships. It's about 1 in 3 or something like that. It's either 1 in 3 or 1 in 4. I can't remember what the statistic was, where they can actually go from being a friend with benefits to a real relationship. And if I were you, what I would be doing is I'd be switching things to connecting with his heart, to doing all the things that we're talking about here, encouraging him, shifting the focus from the sexual relationship. And when you are having sex, focusing on building that connection with him. That way, he wants to see you as somebody that he wants to commit to. Am I already answering questions here? We're not supposed to answer questions until the end. All right. We've got 113 people watching. Awesome. Thanks. If you're just new here, 10 attitudes men love in women. Number 10, by far the most important. It'll make him, number 10 is all about getting a man to feel like you're the one special woman that he wants to have in his life. And he wants to throw away all the other women that are out there and just wants to focus on you because you're his soulmate. At least that's how he might end up feeling about you if it's done correctly. Okay, so any advice for first timers who haven't been in a real relationship with someone before? I have my first real boyfriend and I'm still figuring out as I go. Okay, I feel like I naturally have these attitudes because I always put myself in his shoes. That's a great thing to do, is put yourself in other people's shoes. My biggest problem with masculine men is how much they stonewall. I don't know how to deal with that. Hi, Matt. Haven't seen you in forever. Haven't seen you in forever either. Haha. Okay. Matt's friends with benefits video really brought it home for me. Ladies, please stop being a friend with benefits. Yes, I agree. You should watch my friend with benefits video because you are selling yourself short. Why buy the cow? Why buy the cow? I don't know. Why would you buy that cow? I don't know why you'd call women cows. It's really insensitive of you. Haha. Am I joking? Am I not joking? I don't know anymore. I don't know anymore. Great examples. Thank you. Hi, guys. Stephanie from Los Gatos, California. Heart, heart, heart. Okay. Thanks for your great advice. Working hard on the connection. Okay, let's move on to the next one. It's your turn.
Okay. Number 7 goes along a little bit with number 5 in not being in a rush to get to the finish line. It's this complete trust in the process, trust in yourself, and trust in life that, life has your back, or the universe or God or whatever your belief system is, that things are unfolding the way they're supposed to, that you're just in the perfect place, the perfect time, doing the right things with the right people. And when you can really embody this complete trust in yourself and trust in life, it helps with trusting a man. Of course, it's important to be with a man who you trust, but it all starts with trusting yourself, trusting your own intuition and feelings, and trusting that everything is always working out for you. You can just kind of have this attitude that everything's always working out for you. Things are unfolding exactly the way it's supposed to. It gets you out of this place where you feel like you have to control everything and manipulate the situation or micromanage every single interaction you have with a man. So that's number 7. It goes along with not being in a rush to get to the finish line or trying to control the outcome or the result of every single date or conversation with a man.
Absolutely. And so the technique around that is lean back, lean back, lean back. Okay, that's a song. If you don't know the reference, the cultural reference, that's a song, and you want to lean back because that's the powerful way. Feminine energy, slowing things down, leaning back. And if you want all the great techniques about how to lean back and other stuff like that, make sure you go and check out feminineenchantment.com. That's Helena's program. It's a really great program. So check it out.
Someone's asking what's your channel? Commitment Connection. Commitment Connection. You can just search for it. And I have like hundreds of videos on there too. Is it hundreds? It's over 100 for sure. And we have live streams. We have all kinds of stuff. So go check out Commitment Connection.
Did you say over 100?
Do I have over 100 videos on Commitment Connection?
I would say so. We've got like almost 500 videos on the channel now. So I'm guessing that you probably have at least 100 or 200 of them on there.
Crazy. Yeah.
I know. We're crazy people. We're crazy people. Lean back. Lean back. Yeah. So Commitment Connection is my channel if you want to go check it out. It's a good channel. And if you want great advice, you want to get some one-on-one advice from Helena, go check out feminineenchantment.com. Sign up there. It's a great program. Okay, so next one. So the next one's a metaphor. So this is number 8? Number 8. Mm-hmm. So number 8 is a metaphor that I'm going to tell you what the attitude is in a second, but it's don't jump in the pool before he does. And so what we see a lot of times with women in our community is a lot of these women will come in and they'll be like, yeah, you know, I did all these things with this guy, slept with this guy. I'm, you know, committed to this guy. I'm just seeing him. And I just found out that he's on match.com or he's on this or he's on that, or, you know, he's seeing other women or, you know, all this stuff. Right. And I thought that we were together and why are men so stupid and all this other stuff. Well, here's what usually happens. A lot of times it's the pool metaphor, right? The woman's like, oh, you know, she sees this guy and she's like, hey, let's go jump in this pool together. And he's like, oh, that seems like a good idea. And she's like, great. And then she like runs and jumps in the pool, you know, and then she's like hanging out in the pool by herself. And she's like, hey, where's the guy at? You know, and he was like, no, I just thought it was kind of a good idea. I'm not sure that I actually want to get wet or, you know, like, it wasn't that great of an idea. I don't know, you know? And so she's like hanging out in the pool, swimming by herself. And if you don't want to be swimming by yourself, what you need to do is make sure that the guy jumps in the pool first, right? So the attitude is let him lead, right? Let him push things forward. Let him move things forward. Let him be the one that initiates, that takes things to the next level, that creates the labels, if you're going to have labels, that you know, there's another metaphor out there that's like rowing the boat. You know, don't row the boat for him. Let him row the relationship boat for you. You know, let him take the lead, and make sure that you know, you don't commit to him before he commits to you, and make sure that you keep your options open until he has clamped things down with you. And I know we've kind of talked about, it depends on what kind of a relationship you want. You know, some of the women in our community want marriage, some women don't, right? And my suggestion is that you keep your options open until you have the relationship you want, right? If that's an exclusive relationship, keep your options open until you're exclusive. If that's marriage, keep your options open until marriage. And make sure you communicate about it. You know, don't hide it from him or whatever, because that's just ridiculous. But, you know, if you give everything to a man and you're not getting everything from him, what's going to happen is, you know, the situation that somebody was talking about here, where they said, you know, why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free, which is, you know, exactly what we're talking about. It's like, if you're giving him everything, what motivation does he have to take it to the level that you want it, right? And that's why you keep your options open, because you're not waiting forever for him to, you know, move things forward if he's not even planning on moving things forward. I've seen we have women in our community that have been with guys, been in a friend with benefits relationship with a guy for 12 years. 12 years they've been friends with benefits, nothing more. You know, oh, but I think the guy, he said that he loves me, you know, but he won't ever commit to me, and he's still dating other people, and he's, you know, sleeping with other people. I mean, it's crazy. It's like, what are you doing? And if you want him to feel like I need to take her off the market, she's special, she's the one I want, you have to let him lead and keep your options open. Oh, did I hammer that point enough, Helena?
It's really important though. Yeah, keep your options open is like the best 4 words I could ever tell you. If you're in one of those situations, you don't want to be invested in a man and committed to him before he's invested and committed to you. He needs to feel like he's investing in you before you jump in the pool, so to speak. So yeah, you said it all. That was amazing. You want to move on to number 9?
Yes, number 9. Helena
Okay.
Hot.
Number 9 is looking for positive aspects, both within the man that you're with, if you're in a relationship or dating someone, and just in life too, looking for those positive aspects. I always say that you have a choice in that moment. A man standing right in front of you, you have a choice. You can either think about something you like about him, something he did that made you feel really good, or you can think about something he did that pissed you off or that made you feel bad. That choice is yours. And I've really found that sometimes we're kind of we can almost be inspired by our anger or our jealousy or our insecurity, and it can easily go right there. I see it in clients. They email me this long list of everything they wish the man would change or do differently, and I totally get that. And it's really important to start looking for those positive aspects. I always say that, let's say a man has 10 dominant personality traits. Of course, he's going to have more than 10 aspects to him, but in 9 of them you really like, but there's one thing that you don't like so much. So a lot of times we as humans, it's not a gender thing. We think we're here to fix things and solve problems. So we focus on that one aspect of the relationship that's not the way we want it, or we focus on that one quality in the man we're dating that we wish would be different. And your attention to it just makes it bigger and bigger and bigger, to where I believe if you were to just focus on those other qualities that you really like, things would start to shift and improve. Now, of course, we would never advise you to be with a man where the one thing you don't like is something that he's like abusive or neglectful or super hot and cold, or he's a cheater or a liar. Obviously, you want to listen to your intuition, look out for those red flags. But just in a normal, healthy relationship dynamic, it's really important to look for those positive aspects, and they will become more. Whatever you put your attention on is going to become more, to where that's who he will become to you. That might not be who he is to himself or to anyone else, but to you, he's going to kind of become what the aspects of him that you're focusing on. So you always have a choice on where you're putting your attention, what you're choosing to focus on when you're with a man. So you want to be looking for those positive aspects. Very attractive quality as well, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's incredibly attractive. And I think it's kind of funny that we have to constantly give advisory notices like, no, what we're not saying is, but it's a lot of people kind of misinterpret what we're saying just constantly every day in our comment section. We have over at Commitment Connection, we have just like boatloads of people misinterpreting what we say.
Yeah,
it's kind of interesting.
We've learned to put those disclaimers in. At least I have over time. Yeah, of course, we're not saying to be with someone who's a cheater, does not focus on that and turn a blind eye. Totally not what we're saying. But you get it, right? You want to focus on the positive.
Just to piggyback off what you're saying, absolutely. Not only I know it's hard, and we all find ourselves doing it. I'm not here trying to pretend like we're perfect people or like we're the shining perfect examples of everything, and that we don't make any mistakes. We all have issues. We all have problems. We all get sucked into negativity and depression, and everybody has issues that we all work through. And, I don't know anybody. I was actually listening to a Tony Robbins thing the other day, and, he was talking about how he's gone through depression. He's gone through depressive states, and what's really helped him get out of those is focusing on gratitude and focusing on, the things that he likes and the things that he cares about, and constantly focusing on those things. And it's easy to focus on negative things in a guy or in a relationship. But like what Helena said, if you start focusing on the things that you like and you start expressing those things that you like, you'll notice that the guy starts doing that more. right? Because he wants to make you happy. He wants you to like him. He wants, if you start praising the things that you like in him, he's going to start doing those things more. If he opens a door for you and you're like, oh my God, that's so attractive when you act like such a gentleman, open a door for me. You're such a sweetheart. And you like put your finger down his chest and, kind of like give him bedroom eyes as you walk by him. He's going to be like, I am opening every door that woman gets 5 feet close to, right? Because he wants you to really he wants you to feel like he's attractive. He wants to please you. He wants to make you happy. He wants to do all those things. And so if you're focusing on the positives, he'll want to do more of those things. And like I said, like we said, we're all humans and we all go through things or whatever, but the more you focus on the positive, the more not only will you see it and will you experience it, but that he will start doing those things. So preach it, Maddie. Yeah. Wait for him to make the first move. Yes, claps. So true. If a guy says, I know it's no excuse, but I haven't moved forward because I've been hurt. Do I believe him? Yes. Yes, you believe him. We have a strong connection and have known each other forever, but never moves forward. Hi from England. I see potential in both men and women, and I see their worth even if they don't always feel like they see it in themselves, but I don't fix people. I let people be people. That's great. That's absolutely fantastic. And it's really powerful to be able to see somebody's potential. I mean, like if you spend your life and you see people's potential and you start talking about their potential, they will love you. And I'm sure Laura knows that. What were you going to say, Helena?
Oh, I was just saying, I love that. Yeah, I love that. Seeing their potential, but not trying to fix them, just letting them be who they are. I love it.
Okay, so moving on to number 10. So number 10 here, and this is the big one. This is the most important one. This is the one that can change everything with you and a guy, right? And so I like to use kind of an example when I talk about this. So if I came out here and I've got Eastern European money right now, but let's pretend like this is $100 bill. Okay, I'm not going to do that. If I had $100 bill right now and I was like, hey, I'm going to give you this, right? Do you want it? And I was in a crowded room full of people, and I said, who wants this $100 bill? Everybody in the room is going to be like, yes, unless they, hate money or something, which I don't think too many people do, because money can give you lots of great things. And so if most people will say, I want that money, right? I want that $100 bill. Well, if I crumple that $100 bill up, would you still want it? And the answer is yes. If I took that $100 bill and I threw it on the ground and I stepped on it, would you still want it? The answer is yes. Why? Because that $100 bill, even if you crumple it up, even if you throw it on the ground and you step on it, it maintains its value. It's still worth $100. So what does this mean to you, right? It means that you need to know your value, right? Because if you know your value and you express that, it doesn't matter if you go through depression. It doesn't matter if you go through bad states. It doesn't matter if you go through different things that are challenging in your life. If a guy sees that value in you, right, he's going to want to keep you. He's going to want you forever because he sees that value, right? And so what does this mean? The question is, what is your value? What is your value to the world? Right? What is your value to the earth, to the planet? How do you contribute to things? What is your value to yourself? Right? How do you bring value to your own life? Right? This whole thing is about shaping and creating your reality by design. Right? So what is your value to yourself? What do you create for yourself? How can you create more for yourself? How can you create what you want? How can you be more valuable for yourself? How can you recognize more of your own value for yourself? right? Because we're all valuable to ourselves in many different ways. And the question is, do we see that value? And then lastly, what is your value to men, right? How do you bring value to a man's life? And if you want to learn more about how to bring value to a man's life, check out feminineenchantment.com by Helena's program, because it's great. Did you want to say anything about?
Yeah, that was great. You're like on fire today. You're saying all this stuff I've never heard you say before. So this is amazing. You don't have, this isn't something you have to tell a man. It's not about just walking up to a guy and saying, you know, I'm a high value woman. You need to treat me like a queen. Here's my list of requirements, right? A woman who truly knows her value wouldn't need to say that. It's just, I talk so much about your vibe and your energy. It's just this vibe that you're going to be exuding, that you're basically responding to a man as a woman who knows her value would respond. It's not something you have to like project out there and go. A lot of women ask me, the reason I'm bringing this up is a lot of women say, well, okay, well, how do I show a man my value now? There's this forward leaning quality. Like I need to say all these things to show him my value. Feel how masculine energy that is, where if you can just lean back and know your value, feel it and kind of radiate it out by the behavior you're willing to accept, the way you respond and interact with a man, he's just going to feel that from you. And it's not something you have to like tell him. It's nothing you have to really say, right? Matt, would you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Not only is it not something that you have to say, but in fact, if you start trying to show a man, like one of the things that a lot of women do who don't recognize their own value is they start trying to convince men that they're perfect for each other. You know, they try to convince the guy that he should commit to her, that, you know, he should stay with her, that, you know, they're, you know, peas in a pod, or, you know, twin flames, or she starts, you know, doing all these things where she commits to him, you know, before he commits to her, or, you know, all kinds of different things. A woman who knows her value doesn't need to do that stuff, you know, but what does a woman who knows her value do? Right? It's something to think about, something. Close your eyes and think about what would a high value woman do in this situation? And what it usually is, you know, high value women, they set boundaries, right? They know what they want and they set a boundary. So, you know, a guy doesn't take advantage of her. You know, they set boundaries early, you know, because they want to be treated well by a guy, and they won't accept bad behavior into their lives. A high value woman, she cares about herself. She cares about how people treat her, and she leans back when a guy is there, and she lets him lead. She lets him row the boat. She lets him invest in her instead of her being the one that's buying him gifts and, you know, showering him with love and, you know, doing all these forward masculine leaning things of trying to, you know, make a guy see how valuable she is. Yeah. Is there anything I'm missing there?
I'm just reading the comments. I mean, yeah, everybody, my attitude depends on my own inner worth and how I can add value to others. High value women have boundaries. It's an inner peace and knowing. Make your own value. See yourself as a rare diamond and just shine. See, yeah, you guys totally got this one. Amazing. I told you my channel is all positive energy, amazing women. I told you, right?
Yeah, we get a lot of angry people on my channel.
But I just love you guys. I mean, like, it's just, yeah, just amazing. All of the comments and everything, and you guys are all just
yeah, they're totally. You have very, very smart, intelligent, awesome women here that really get this stuff. So that's cool.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
awesome.
Mm-hmm.
We love you guys. We love you guys. So, is there anything else you want? Wait, were we doing question and answer? Yeah, we have a non-angry crowd today. We do.
Yeah.
We do.
I told you it would be like that.
How long have we been doing this?
How long have we been doing this?
Yeah. Has this been an hour yet?
I think we started, yeah, I think it's been about an hour.
Okay. All right, let's see what people have to say here. Matthew, what is the name of your channel? It's Commitment Connection. Here, I'll type it in here. Commitment connection.
Oh, you can type things in. You want to do
my
the
channel.
enchantment?
Yeah. It's actually the channel that comes up when I type in my channel. I'm coming from Commitment Connection right now. So let's see. How do I have difficult conversations in a relationship with a boyfriend? I don't always know how to respectfully talk to men as men. Do you have any tips? Yeah, that's kind of a big topic that we could probably do a whole video on. Twin flames. Love you too, Helena. Thanks. Commitment connections. See yourself as a rare diamond. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it depends on what kind of a difficult conversation you're looking to have. I see potential in both men and we've talked about that. Hey, from Alaska. Okay. So, how to show a guy your interest without being needy. Oh, that's a Della, right? I think we talked. I think I said I was going to answer that question on our last live stream. So, how to show your interest without being needy. So there's kind of these different ways to express things, right? One of them is kind of the Helena Hart method, which is a beautiful, beautiful method. It's probably not the Helena Hart method. Maybe it is. Maybe we should copyright, trademark that term, the Helena Hart method.
I'm so interested in what you're going to say right now. What you think?
No, I'm just talking about speaking from your emotions, speaking from your feelings, talking, being like, I feel so good, talking from like, I feel. What are some of the other words that you speak from? It's usually I feel, I think. When you say I feel, so good being around you, I feel, so happy when, you say things like that. I feel, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You're saying I feel things without having some type of expectation attached to it where you're trying to get him to say something back to you. That's a really important and valuable way of saying, showing your interest in a guy, right? Well, there's another way to do it that I've got. That's a little bit more technique-y, if that's even a word. I'm not sure if that's a word or not. But basically, it's about it actually comes from your attitude, right? You can tell, a guy can tell when a woman is trying to get something from him, right? He can tell when she's like, coming from this nervous, scared, like I need this to work. I need him to say something special back to me type of place. And it's really unattractive. It's unattractive when a guy doesn't, right? If a guy looks at you and he's like, oh, baby, you're so hot. And I want to have sex with you right now, right? It's gross. You look at it and you're like, ugh, but if he's like, wow, you're really hot, and he says it kind of in a matter of fact type of way, it has a completely different experience when he's saying something to you, right? And if you want, you can say almost anything to a guy if you say it in a matter of fact type of way. If you're like, hey, I kind of like you, not gonna lie, it can be really attractive, right? Because you're not saying, I'm so attracted to you and I want you to tell me how attracted you are to me, or I really like you and, I want you to be my boyfriend. Will you be my boyfriend? Right? That's gross. It's gross. Don't do it. But if you're just like, yeah, I really like you, I enjoy hanging out with you. I enjoy spending time with you, and you do it in kind of a non-grasping, I'm trying to make something. This is my velociraptor. I'm trying to make something happen right now. And it's really gross. Oh man. Helena's still not laughing. I keep doing these funny things.
I'm laughing on the inside because I know the camera's gonna switch back to me.
She's laughing on the
and I'm reading comments at the same time. Somebody says if we lean back, they might not do anything. Yeah, they might not do anything, but you're not going to know what a guy's gonna do all on his own unless you give him the opportunity. And you do that by stopping leaning forward, stopping trying to keep things going. And I love what Matt just said too. I talk about it in terms of like, it's the intention behind what you're expressing. One thing I always have my clients ask themselves before they say anything or do anything, especially when it comes to showing interest, is what am I hoping will happen? What am I hoping will happen? That's checking to see if you have this agenda. And if you can answer that strongly, like, well, I'm hoping he'll tell me he likes me too and he'll ask me out, it's a big clue you have an agenda. If he doesn't give you the response you're hoping for, you might end up devastated. And it's a clue to not express your interest in that moment. If you can ask yourself, what am I hoping will happen? And the answer is nothing. I just want to express how I feel because it feels really good and I want to show appreciation or acknowledgement, then you're good. You can say anything coming from that place, right?
Yeah. The lesson is don't be a velociraptor. Don't try to suck this energy out and pull him towards you. That's going to be on video forever, and people are going to see that for the rest of my life. That's really great. My grandchildren are going to be like, oh, remember when Grandpa was a velociraptor on video? Okay. Okay. So what are we saying? What do we got here? Wow, we got a lot of new comments on here. So yeah, that's how you can show your interest. There's two ways to show your interest. One is coming from your heart and just expressing your feelings. And the second way is doing it without some type of expectation and just, saying things in a matter of fact kind of way, like, without expecting him to do something or say something or respond, which I know can be really, really difficult because we all want things to happen, right? You want him to like you back. You want him to have feelings for you too, but if you say it without needing there to be anything that comes from it, you can say a lot of things and it won't be a turnoff at all, right? It's that expectation that makes it a turnoff. But if we lean back, they might not do anything. Yes, that's true. They might not. And that will tell you a lot about how he feels about you. Exactly. And what he's thinking and what he's doing.
Yeah.
And what his plans are. I deeply cherish him and have connected to his heart. How do I have a conversations about feelings I have for him? I have used a lot of your tips on compliments and showing him how much I respect him.
Helena, what's he doing? What's he doing? Is he showing his feelings for you? Is he showing you that he's interested? Is he pursuing you? That's important. If he's not doing those things, that's telling you something.
It is. It's telling you something. Helena always says by connecting with your own. See, and it's one of those things where a lot of people, men and women, you see this all the time. You might have had this happen with a guy before where he's like, this was, so I used to be in the men's dating space, right? And this is like, it was kind of a joke, but we saw it happen all the time with guys where a guy would like a girl and they think in their head, they're like, if I just run up to her and I just blurt out, right? Like everything. If I tell her how I feel, she'll like realize that she feels the same towards me and want to be in, want to just rip her clothes off and have sex with me and be in a relationship with me. And you're just like, what? And so you see a guy and he's like, baby, I love you so much. And you mean so much to me. Right. And I'm not trying to mock, like, maybe I am mocking it, but it's a bad idea. If you're going in and you're, showering that person with all your emotions and your feelings, and that person isn't showing that kind of interest in you and pursuing you and doing things with you, it can be not only a massive turnoff, but it can ruin everything. Because it's just this weird, it's like it's never ever worked. I've never ever seen, and nobody in my entire, I don't know how long I've been doing this, since 2006. Never in the last 12 years have I done this and coached guys and ever heard anybody and women and ever heard anybody say, I went and confessed all of my emotions and feelings for this person. And, it went great. I've never, ever heard that before. So there's that. What you want is you want to see how he is moving forward and how he's leaning forward. It'll tell you, right? You don't even need to ask him how he feels about you, because he will try to do things, right? I mean, yeah, it's good to have him express his emotions and stuff, but you can get a glimpse into how he feels by what he does, how he treats you, what he's trying to do. Is he trying to move things forward? Is he just making it sexual, or is he interested in talking? Guys that are interested in a commitment with you, most of them aren't afraid to talk about it, right? There are some like men's dating advice things where it's kind of gamey, where they're like, don't talk about your feelings and don't, tell a girl that you're interested in something deeper. But most guys who are like, hey, I'm interested in marriage. Hey, I'm interested in commitment. Hey, I'm interested in something real. They aren't afraid of that. They aren't afraid of that conversation. They aren't afraid of talking about it. And they know what they want, and they know that they want it with you. Guys who don't feel that way are afraid of the conversation. They're afraid of talking about it. They're like, well, I'm not really sure yet. What that means is I don't feel that way, right? It's a black and white thing. It's just, the world isn't black and white, but dag nabbit, doggone it, this is a black and white thing right here. I got Helena to laugh. Yes. He is a famous person rising to the top, so I support him and want to give him enough time. Yeah. Oh, there's more to this conversation.
And space. I'm afraid he will not move things forward because he gets the milk for free.
Yeah.
That is a friends with benefit. Connected to his heart. Says he's not ready for commitment because of his career. Yeah, believe him. Believe him. Well, you want to watch what a man does? I love everything Matt said. Totally spot on. How a man treats you is how he feels about you. You want to watch his actions. But if he's telling you he's not ready for a commitment, absolutely. It goes back to those 4 words. Keep your options open. If he's not ready for commitment, you should be dating other men. I hope you are. If not, start doing that immediately. That will help you a lot.
It will, because guys can feel that. Guys can feel you jumping in. They can see you in the pool. Make no mistake about it. If you're in the pool and he's not in the pool, he's like, "What are you doing in the pool?" He's like, "She's in the pool. How do I make my escape?" Right? How do I keep her? And sometimes he's like, "How do I keep her in the pool and get out of here?" Right? And so you want to watch out for that, for sure. It's not always like that, but if a guy's really interested in you, he's going to jump in the pool and he's going to grab you by the arm and lead you to the pool. And, you're going to, get into your bathing suit and he's going to be like, come on, let's go in. And that's what you want. And you don't want anything else. So let the man do the chasing, the doing, the pursuing, the right man. Yeah. A man, it's not even right or wrong, man. It's a man that's interested will do that. The only exceptions to that are guys that don't know what to do, which there's a lot of those guys out there as well. But yeah, so what is your answer to my question about first timers? Well, there's a lot of, it's like, okay, so I'm in a first relationship. What should I do? There's so much advice that, like all of this stuff, all the things that we talk about and all of our things. It's like, okay, first time, there's so many things that you can do. It doesn't matter if it's your first time or not. There's a lot of things to talk about in our relationships. And my suggestion would be to, if you feel like you really need some guidance, what you should do is sign up for Helena's Feminine Enchantment program. Go through the program, and as you're going through your relationship, ask questions in her question and answer section about your situation, so that you know what to do on a continual basis based on whatever is going on right then in your situation. Not dating others yet because I wanted to show I am loyal to him. But I will hoe. Did you say what? I don't know if you messed that up. Okay. Thanks for
Just
the
joking. Just
clarification.
joking. You get it. Yeah, you got to start dating other. Don't, you shouldn't be, you shouldn't. I thought that was super funny. But I was trying not to laugh as I was reading it because I knew it was getting switched back to me. Thanks for the clarification, guys. Much love. Yeah, you just want to be, if he's not committed to you, you don't want to be committed to him yet. It's like Matt's pool analogy, attitude number 8, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. It's, keep your options open, because it's that potential of you leaving. You'll start feeling that because your attention won't be focused solely on him anymore. Right. And so he'll be like, whoa, where did her focus go? Right. She's, content. She normally is, like if I'm like snapping my fingers, she's there for me. And all of a sudden she's not, what's going on here. Right. And then he gets to make a decision, because you're going to be open about it. And if he asks you about it, like what's going on with you, just be like, oh yeah, I've got other things going on. Right. And if he wants to pull your attention back and he wants to clamp that down and be in a relationship and jump in that pool, he's going to have to do it. He's going to have to be like, hey, this is what I want. Let's do this. Or there's a potential that he's going to lose you. And so if he doesn't want to lose you, then he'll do that.
Yeah, the right guy's he's not going to jeopardize his potential to be with you. He's just not, he's not going to want to risk losing you. And if he does, he can't possibly be the right man, in my opinion.
Yeah. So what if you alluded to a boundary and pushed it back by going against it? Stop going against your own boundaries. That's what you can do, right? Because it's important that if you have a boundary, and think about what your boundaries are going to be beforehand, right? And figure out what they are and stick to them, right? And I know it can be hard. You can get swept up in the moment, and stick to your boundaries, because if you don't, you might end up, I don't know what your boundary was in that situation. Otherwise we could talk about the situation, but if you go against your own boundaries, yes, a man starts looking at your boundaries as optional, right? He starts looking at what you say as not really serious. He losing respect for you, which respect is value, right? He starts valuing what you say less because you're not serious about it, and you need to be serious about your boundaries. If you want a guy to value you and feel like you're, the right woman, be serious. Be serious about those values. All right. Anything else, Elena?
No, I'm just reading the comments. I totally agree with that. Yeah, you can always go back. You can say, yeah, I don't know exactly what the situation was, but you can, if you have to have a conversation about it, that's fine. Just stick to your boundaries. Just because you crossed it once doesn't mean you can't reel it back in, right?
That's right. That's right. That's right. Renola says, you guys rock, and says, we love you too. Okay, well, that's going to be it for today. So thank you, everybody, for being here with us. We love you guys. You're the best part of our community. If you haven't been to our community yet, go to Facebook and type in the Goddess Community, and we have a big community. We just broke 2,000 women in the Facebook community that we have. A great community of women that are talking about all of these issues. My suggestion is that you go and be a part of that community. Even if you're not really talking and active in the community, it's good to see what's going on with a lot of other women and seeing what's going on in their situations. You should join our community and be a part of it. And if you haven't joined it yet, go check out FeminineEnchantment.com and join Helena Hart's program there, because it's awesome. So thank you so much, everybody, and we'll speak with you again soon. What do you have anything to say?
Yeah, we'll post links to our Facebook group and Feminine Enchantment and in Commitment Connection, Matt's channel. Do you guys want Matt to come back on again? Because this was great. I think this was awesome. I think everyone loved. You're kind of like on fire today. Everything you were saying was just like amazing. So we should definitely do this again. This is so much fun, and yeah, we'll do it again soon. Thank you so much. We love you guys, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.